Hello everyone, welcome back to another Train Sim World 6 video. Today we are checking out the brand new 1980s British Rail era route from Just Trains. As you know, I am an absolute sucker for Just Trains content. I got Blackpool branches when it originally came out in November 2023 that was. A year later they came out with Preston Carlisle, which for a time was one of my favourite routes in the game, and then they also released the Class 86/2, which I absolutely adored, and the Arriva Pacer for Cardiff City Network, which is their only modern era add-on, and is decent, but still has a few timetable bugs that still need to be fixed. Anyway, 18 or 19 months after their last route was released, we finally have the Crewe Preston route from Just Trains, and oh boy, there is going to be a lot to get through. I'm not going to be covering everything about this route in this video. Just saying, this route's scope is gigantic, and if you want to check it out, there is a 133-page manual available to download from their website, which goes into far more detail than I ever could. So, Crewe Preston. I've already loaded it up. You've got training modules, you've got a couple of slow speed controllers and your route, slow speed controller tutorials and your route introduction, as you would expect. You also have 5 scenarios, which are the usual standard fare. Nothing really noteworthy. Well, actually no. Thunderbirds are Go, which is an obvious reference to the Thunderbirds television show. I think this is an interesting scenario because overhead line issues mean that part of the electric wires on the route have failed, which means you have to get in a diesel locomotive, 47.3 and class 20, and then drag electric trains through the affected section, which I think is actually a really, really cool concept. Anyway, let's have a look at the timetable. There is only one. And there are quite a few layers. I have all the layers active. They range from Tees Valley to Northern Transpennine, VR Heavy Freight Pack, to Cargo Line Volume 5 Nuclear, Blackpool Branches, Preston Carlisle, this, that, and the other. There's a lot of layers in this timetable. So, in terms of bog standard rolling stock. Also, if you hear anything weird in the background, I'm having to have all of my windows and doors open as it is currently a scorching 30 degrees here in Britain, and it's scheduled to get up to 34 later in the week. So, with no air conditioning, that's going to be fun. Anyway, the main rolling stock included with the route is the Class 86/4, which is different to the 86/2. There are a number of prototypical differences. There are some versions. You've got BR Blue with the cables, Electric Blue, which is a one-off livery, which is a very cool retro livery. Intercity 1, Intercity 1 RCH, Intercity 2, 2 RCH, 3 RCH, and then a couple of livery designer ones, which we won't need to cover. Which, yeah, the 86/4 is a bit of a different beast to the 86/2. The 86/2 can only work as one locomotive. It doesn't have the capability to run in multiple, and it only really ran cross-country trains. Not cross-country as in the modern train operator, but cross-country as in long-distance, stopping everywhere services. The 86/4, on the other hand, not only did those cross-country services, but it also is capable of operating as a freight locomotive, and that does show up in the timetable. So, if we say, take the BR Blue one, you could do, intercity services, and then you can also do, steel trains, like this one goes from Preston to Cresty Lane, with a loaded steel train. Then also, so yeah, the 86/2, which is its own DLC, does show up in the timetable, but the 86/4 is the one that's included with the route. Next up, we have the Class 47, and you're like, wait a minute, we've already had the Class 47 in a million different DLCs, starting all the way back in with the West Somerset Railway many, many years ago. And you would be right. But this 47.3 is a bit different. You get a BR Blue and a Rail Freight Grey. It's both in the Stroke 3 version, and this is a brand new version. The model has been completely retextured. I'm not joking when I say that. The model has been retextured from the ground up. So has the Class 20 as well. That's been completely retextured, but we'll get onto that. And yeah, slow speed control has been added, headlights, even crash damage, fixed crash damage depending on the locomotive number, which is insane. Anyway, so you get BR Blue and you get Rail Freight Grey. Rail Freight Grey is probably my favorite because, yeah, if you have a look at the Stroke 4, which is the old one, that's all BR Blue or Intercity. So Rail Freight is something a bit different. So yeah, that mainly does salt trains, speed links, coal. Also does both the 47/3 and Class 20 are capable of doing the merry-go-round coal services, which I will get onto. Next up, we have the Class 20, which is also not new to the game and came with its own dedicated DLC from the Tees Valley line. And also the Class 20 has also appeared again as part of Cargo Line Volume 5, but as a modern derivative in DRS livery for hauling nuclear flask wagons. This Class 20 is a bit different. So you get a BR Blue with 3 different versions, with headcoat boxes, discs, or with the discs removed, and that's across both Rail Freight Grey and BR Blue. So the original Class 20 only had one version, the disc version, in the Rail Freight colours. This model has also been, as I said, completely retextured from the ground up, as it should be. And yeah, like this also does quite a few trains as well. Does some coal trains, salt trains, blah blah. And it also does limestone workings as well if you have the Peak Forest DLC, but you can't drive those, unfortunately. The Class 20 is honestly one of my favorite older DLCs. I had an absolute blast. I've had an absolute blast driving the older one that Dovetail did, but Just Trains have gone the extra mile to make sure that this has, like slow speed controllers. Yeah, like the list of changes to this thing is longer than my arm. And then last but not least, you get the Class 08, which is the updated version that originally appeared with Blackpool branches, but I think like the Class 08 goes back years in the game. I think it originally appeared with the BR Heavy Freight Pack, but the cousin of the Class 08, the Class 09, also appeared in West Somerset. That's like 2018 or something. So it's not a new model per se, but yeah. In this case, the list of changes is not as extensive. The Class 08 has been simply copied and pasted from Preston Carlisle with A, B, C, D versions and 08744 Wigan TMD, and that's it. But I'm not angry about that. In fact, I'm glad that the Gronk has been included because it's a dang good model. Like, it's really good. And the fact that we all just get these different like paint schemes to play with is quite nice. Going on to the layers, we have the Class 101 from West Coast Mainline Preston Carlisle, the updated retextured one. Well, retextured interior. The 3-car one only has 3 services, which is pretty pathetic, I have to say. But the 2-car one does have quite a few more services. The only really does Preston, Leyland, and back, unfortunately, but it is prototypical. Now, then we have the Pacer, all the different versions for that. And then that mainly does Warrington Bank Quay to Newton Le Willows, calling it Earlstown. Which, yeah, and that's basically it. Then we get the 47.4, which does all the services that the most of the no, wait a minute. Okay, the 47.3 has 238 services, the 47.4 has 48. But yeah, it's nice to have some variation. There's quite a few different versions of the 47 that come with Preston Carlisle, like multiple different livery types and that kind of thing, including a ScotRail one, which is nice. The 86-2 obviously comes from West Coast Mainline Preston Carlisle, and it's its own DLC, and it only really does intercity services and a few shunting moves and light loco moves, blah blah. And then the Class 87 from Preston Carlisle does some intercity services, and yeah, that's basically it. But yeah, like, there's also been a huge number of changes to the stock that Just Trains already had. A bunch of changes, optimization, Preston Carlisle got rail singing, optimization, 86.2 got optimized, but the big change is to Blackpool branches, which we won't be covering in this video, but I just wanted to show you one thing. There is a new timetable with a lot more services. And if you'll notice something, there are West Coast Mainline electric services now. Blackpool branches finally got updated to have the West Coast Mainline electrics appear at Preston. Something which I've been begging for like the past 1.5 years, and they finally did it, and it's a free update. The new Class 20 from Preston Crewe layers in, the 47-3 layers in to do some passenger and freight services, and then the Mark II D, E, and F from Preston Carlisle and Crewe Preston also layer in, so you could do you could run a 47-4 with the Mark II D, E, F coaches and the restaurant buffet coach, Mark I coaches, from Preston up to Blackpool North, which is pretty cool that we finally have that. But there is one minor... whoops, wrong menu. There is one omission which I do find annoying. If we go to Preston Carlisle normal timetable, you will see that the 47/3 the 47/3, the updated Class 20, and the 86-4 don't layer in properly. The 86-4, despite being a mixed traffic engine, does only layers in for the cross-country services like the 86/2. It doesn't layer in for the freight services. The 47-3 doesn't layer in, and the Class 20 is just the old dovetail version, which I'm a bit sad about. They went all the work to put all of this new stock on Blackpool branches, but then with Preston Carlisle, it's as if all the new stock just doesn't exist. And I am hopeful that Just Trains will get around to updating Preston Carlisle to add all of this stuff, like the Preston Crewe timetable, not Preston Crewe stock, etc. But yeah. Also, one thing I am somewhat hopeful of is that with the new Blackpool branches timetable, one thing that I hope they have built in is timetable layering for the Class 108, which Just Trains are doing as part of the Cumbrian Coast Carlisle Whitehaven route. If they could do, I think it would, if they haven't done it already, then it would be wise to do that. Anyway, enough of me waffling. You're probably absolutely sick of hearing me talk at this point. Today we're going to be driving the Class 86/4, and we're going to be in the electric blue version, obviously. We're doing 1 Papa 1-8. We're doing light clouds. And yeah, let's get started. Alright, everyone. You now join us at Crewe, at the southern end of the Crewe Preston route, in 86-426, I think it is, or E3195. For some reason, it has both a post-tops number and a pre-tops number, which is very interesting. I think it's because it's a heritage livery. I must say, the Class 86 has never looked better, and this thing is also compatible with train faults and Enhancements now, and it has a ton of potential faults too. So yeah. Apologies for the slightly low frame rate. Crewe is slightly hard on the performance, I'm afraid. We have a Mark II formation today. And one thing about the formations on this route is we now have, what is it, the Mark IID and Mark IIe coaches that come with this route. Those can mix and match together pretty well, along with the Mark I RBR, which is the restaurant buffet refurbished one, but also the Mark IIFs from the Class 86/TDLC and the restaurant buffet car from also the 86/TDLC can also substitute in. And basically, you can have really unique formations for each run. So you can have, for each coach, you can have Mark II D, E, or F coaches. You can have two different types of buffet car. You can have British Rail Blue Intercity liveries. It's really cool how the different formations are mixed and matched, which is how they were done in real life. But also another change is, you will notice there is new car models. Whatever this thing is, I believe it's some kind of Austin? Maybe? Yeah, I'm not entirely too sure on my 1980s vehicles. We also have Leyland National buses, i.e. what the Pacer is based on, painted in appropriate liveries depending on what area of the route you're in, which is a pretty dang neat feature. What are you? You're another vehicle. You are a something. Yeah, I definitely know what you are. No, I don't. I absolutely don't know what that is. But yeah, those new car models have also been backported onto Blackpool branches, which is pretty cool. So yeah, we also have this station canopy, which disused station canopy, which doesn't exist anymore. It got demolished. In my last video, I actually pulled in on this platform. No. I think it was that platform where I'm sitting right now on All Aboard Studios West Coast Mainline Trent Valley route, which is pretty cool. We've got a couple of 47-4s stroke 4s over here. Another one over there. Well, it's labeled as a stroke 6, but it's really just a stroke 4. Then we have a something over here. Looks like another... Oh, it's an 86. Probably a stroke 4, judging by the weathering. Yes. 86 stroke 4. Really nicely weathered. I do love that. It's a mail train. That's something the 86 stroke 2 can't do. I should also stress that this version of Crewe is not based on the old Spirit of Steam Crewe. This Crewe has been built from scratch by the Just Trades team. And I say, like, credit to you guys. Wow. We've got a 101 over here, the Preston Crewe version, obviously. Looks as though... Wait a minute. That's a... Wait a minute. I didn't even notice this before. So we've got Mark IIs on the front. We've got a... Whatever. I think this is the Yes, this is the refurbished restaurant car. And then on the back, we have two first-class Mark IIIs and a guards van. Neat. I didn't know the Mark IIs and Mark IIIs could mix and match like that. That is pretty cool. So then we also have other bits of Crewe. Yeah. Like, this whole station has been done amazingly. Like, hat tip to the Just Trades team already. People have been saying that this is the best TSW6 DLC so far, and I might be inclined to agree with them, even though we've had such gems as West Coast Mainline Trent Valley or Libertet Starapaka. Okay, anyway, enough of me waffling. Let's actually get moving here. So, I've got to remember how to set this thing up. It's been a bit since I've driven the 86. Alright, you will hear announcements today. I need headlight spare and marker lights, yes. And then I also need to set up AWS. Then we need to fire alarm test. That's one of the things that can fail, actually. Turn on the DVD. Yeah. So we are, as we said, I'm doing 1 Papa 18 Euston to Blackpool North today. This service is also playable on Blackpool branches in the new timetable from Preston to Blackpool North with A47. We are stopping at Crewe, Warrington, Bank Quay, Wigan North Western, and Preston. And I've actually done this run in real life. I've been in a Pendolino from Euston up to Blackpool North. Euston, yeah, not to Blackpool North, just as far as Preston, sorry. and since it was a Glasgow Central service, the first stop was actually Warrington Bank Quay. So yeah, I haven't even stopped at Crewe before, unfortunately. Yeah. As you can see, the frame rate with all these locomotives loaded in is not the best. So we not only have Crewe, we also have a ton of the yards around, including the Crewe EMD. We've got some Class 40s over here waiting to be scrapped, unfortunately. We've also got whatever this is over here, another yard. We've got Crewe Basford Hall, which, as you can see, is chocker with a huge amount of wagons, which is probably contributing to my atrocious frame rate. Oh, hello, we're supposed to be on the move. Also, you can route hop to West Coast Mainline Trenton Valley if you want to. All aboard did put the route in. Did put the work in to add that. Right, so we're up to... Oh, whoops. Started moving while the doors were still open. How 1980s is that? Should have... Yeah. Crewe is definitely hard on the frame rate. My word. That's 19 FPS? My word. Alright, get ready to run that down so we don't exceed the 20 limit. Once we leave Crewe behind, we should have a little bit, you know, less of just absurd amount of wagons clogging up the frame rate. Because this route, outside of, like, major terminus stations, is quite a bit better optimized than Preston Carlisle ever was until now, I would say. So yeah, you're probably going to start yelling at me in the comments section. Oh, Just Trains didn't get this right. They didn't put the Crewe Heritage Centre in. And you would be right in a sense, but in 1986, when this route is set, the Crewe Heritage Centre didn't exist yet. They were about to start building it, but they didn't have it. Right, going to have to watch those amateurs. This is my first 86 run on a new HUD, on the minimal HUD, I should say. So yeah, what's my frame rate now? 30 FPS. That's a lot better than before. Crewe is definitely a performance hog. So yeah, we've got Warrington Bank Quay, Wigan Northwestern, and Preston. And then, yeah, as I said, the service is then playable on Blackpool, which is pretty cool. And the fact that they made the new timetable on Blackpool a free update is just like, thank you. Thank you, Just Trains. I knew there was a reason we called you the best developers in this game. Oh boy, bit of a stutter there. Yeah, once we put Crewe behind us, the frame rate should be considerably better. But yeah, honestly, the 20 and the 47 seem to be even better optimized than the 86, so we will see. Oh, neutral section, that's going to shut us down. Yep, and it did. I haven't learned the neutral sections on this route yet, guys. It's not... Do we have power? Those lights aren't illuminated. Trying to run it up and it isn't working. Oh, they came. Bit of a longer neutral section than I had anticipated. 20 miles to Warrington Bank Quay. Start running up that juice. I must say, this new electric blue livery on the 86 is just, oh, it's gorgeous. Like, just look at it. It's beautiful. It's a bit of a shame that it's only a one-off and you can't really see it in timetable mode because it is only one locomotive. But hey, it is what it is. Alright. This is my first time running Crewe Preston, so do expect more stutters than normal, please. And also, it's a lot warmer today, so yeah. Honestly, the only really thing that this route is missing is a first generation electric multiple unit, because what are the the runs up to Hertford and Winsford are not used that much because, well, there's no first generation EMU to call at those stations. A few intercity services do, but not many. So, yeah. If Just Trains ever get around to doing something like that, that'd be awesome. Already at 75 miles an hour? How's frame rate? Still only around 30 FPS? Okay. Okay, I think it's okay. I think we're beginning to deload Crewe now, and all of that stock is beginning to get deleted, so hopefully we can start getting a better frame rate now that Crewe is being left behind. But honestly, Warrington might be even worse on the performance because, well, there's a ton of stuff going on at Warrington. Honestly, my favorite run on this route might be, will probably be the merry-go-round coal services, where, oh, I think I ran it down too early, whoopsie, where you do, like, coal services from, pick up coal from Bickershaw Colliery and then dump it at Fiddler's Ferry Power Station, which is honestly so cool that you could do the full merry-go-round. Okay, now we're getting like 43 FPS. That is much more decent. Yeah, and now Crewe is finally being deloaded from the system. Trying to run it down so it doesn't accelerate anymore. There we go. Oh, it's because the locomotive is backwards. Oh dear. Yeah. It's a bit of a pity we don't have a first generation EMU. I can't remember what the class number is to do runs on this route, but hey. Yeah. 44 FPS on the first run's not bad. And also the fact that we can do full West Coast mainline runs from Euston up to Carlisle in 2 different eras, mind you, is so cool. And also that there's timetable synchronicity between this route, Blackpool Branches, and Preston Carlisle. I just hope that, as I said before, that the Preston Crewe stuff gets properly added into the timetable, but we will see about that. Add a couple more notches. Yeah. Just expect more stutters on this run, just saying. Just because, yeah, this is the first time I'm loading route, it has to be all cached. 15 miles to Warrington Bank Quay. Oh, that's 101. Okay. Locomotive brake coming in clutch. Run that down a long way. I believe this is Winsford. Bog standard 1980s BR station. I thought the textures had deloaded. They hadn't. It was just the way the light was reflecting off the dials. Just trying to gently run it up. We're now running at 100 miles an hour. Oh boy, there we go. As per usual nowadays, the Class 86 does have the Armstrong powerhouse, or as I like to call it, and DC 4260 Productions likes to call it, Armstation Land Rover. There are 2 signal boxes modelled, not as many as on Preston Carlisle. The 2 signal boxes in question being at Arpley and Fiddler's Ferry. So yeah, there's a lot of, like, yeah, I believe this is Bickershaw? Are you Bickershaw? Yes, you're Bickershaw Colliery. Yeah, there's quite a few branch lines on this route, which you can do like industrial workings up and down on. Like, the amount of service variety on this route is incredible. You can do passenger services in the 86, industrial workings in the 47 and 20, like short stopper runs in the Pacer or 101. It really is incredibly varied, and I love that. 12 miles to go. Hopefully we'll actually do this run on time today, because I am decently used to the Class 86 at this point. Like, I've probably run it like 10, 20 times on Preston, Carlisle alone. I did most of the services during the daytime that the 86-2 had on Preston, Carlisle. So the fact that we have another 86 variant and another route to run it on that isn't as gradient challenging, you know, viaduct here, is incredible. What FPS are we getting now? Like 41 to 44. That's decent. I'm just wanting to cache everything in the system in this first run. I believe we're coming up on Hartford. So weird seeing this particular stretch of line in 1986, because this stretch of track also features on Spirit of Steam a bit, from Crewe to the junction with Liverpool, after Liverpool, which I can't remember the name of. Straight through Hartford, not messing about. Also, you will see something pretty special when we get to Wigan, something Just Trains were able to officially license, and I didn't know this until they showed it off in the developer live stream. Yeah, hopefully we also get like 1 or 2 small train faults today just to test them out, because yeah, I would like to try that. "10 miles to Warrington Bank Quay." What's this next station coming up? Oh, I just paused the game. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Station U. Acton Bridge. Oh, yes! And then Weaver Junction. Yeah, Weaver Junction is as far as Spirit of Steam goes on the West Coast Main Line, because then you go off toward Liverpool. So weird seeing it in the 80s with decent scenery, you know? Because this, like, the difference between this scenery and Spirit of Steam is honestly night and day. Like, Spirit of Steam scenery could honestly, like, give West Cornwall local a run for its money, but this, oh no, this is probably, this is probably some of the best scenery I've ever seen in Train Sim World, ever, genuinely. I wonder why is the frame rate just dropped? 32 FPS. Oh, there's probably another train coming, don't you think? Or maybe, oh, maybe he's caching Acton Bridge in, who knows. Yeah, it's so weird. Like, I vaguely recognize this from Spirit of Steam, and yet it isn't Spirit of Steam. Someone's going to have to do a comparison video between this and Spirit of Steam. Acton Bridge. Straight through. Then we're just coming up on Weaver Junction. On Weaver Junction, I think. And yeah, they've put dedicated free roam teleport places to throughout the route to train spot from, which it's just a great touch. I love that the developers have done that. Like, hat tip, guys. I love having those. How's frame rate? 45 FPS? Not bad. Like, Just Trains routes have never run the best for me. But yeah, this route is honestly running a lot better than Preston, Carlisle. Alright. Big viaduct. Oh yes, this is the Weaver River Viaduct, I believe. And this is where we will be taking our thumbnail for today's video. Like, oh yeah. This is nice. Yeah, like, having a new bit of Just Trains 1980s content is just like a dream come true, because you know when Just Trains releases one of these, they have absolutely just made it dang near perfect, despite the fact none of the Just Trains team remember this era. Oh, neutral section. Run down. At least I keep an eye out for those neutral section warning signs. Sorry, I'm a bit allergenic today, which is why I sound a bit weird. Run that down all the way and then set it off. Okay, here's Weaver Junction. So this is as far as Spirit of Steam goes before heading off toward Liverpool. Alright, set that off. Here's Weaver Junction. It's so weird to see Weaver Junction across two eras. Oh, hello, Class 87 with a Mark III rake. Very nice. Alright, that's power off. Measure power will come back on in a minute. So nice being able to handle neutral sections like mechanically. Oh, they're already on. It's just a bit hard to tell. Like, yeah, because in a modern unit, say you're driving a Class 350 on Trent Valley, like, if you get to a neutral section, the train just handles it automatically. But on this route, oh no, you have to do it. You have to do it very careful. You have to keep an eye out for them and run the train down manually. Excuse me. Also, another fix is that the instrument lights actually illuminate the gauges at daytime. That's something that was also backported to the 86-2 locomotive brake on the locomotive brake hard. Yeah. Expect quite a bit of performance loss when we get to Warrington because oh boy, there's a lot of stock there. Really decently, like, yeah, this is really cool. And I love how the formation has both marked all three different versions of Mark II, a buffet car, Mark I, a buffet, oh boy, and also a what is it? I'm trying to remember. Also, two Mark IIIs as well. That's pretty cool. Okay, we do have a 90 limit coming up. Oh, Leyland National Bus. I love the new traffic cars. Like, yeah, those are pretty cool. 3 miles to Warrington Bank Quay, so let's begin to start thinking about slowing down. Let's get down to 90. Gently does it. Yeah, I'm expecting quite a bit of stuttering and lag as we get toward Warrington because, oh my goodness, the amount of stuff that is going on there is just insane, really. Yeah, I think it's all loading in now. Yeah, frame rate has dropped. Big bridge ahead. It's a good landmark. I can't remember the name of said bridge, but yeah. Massive bridge dead ahead. Across this huge bridge. Down. Yeah, see what I meant about a lower frame rate? My word. Slowing down for Warrington Bank Quay. Oh no. Some services over there. Ooh, a Class 20 nose first with some Spirit of Steam box vans. Nice. Also, off to the left is a Unilever. Ooh, hello, Class 47. With a mail train straight through, not messing about. On the left there is a Unilever, what was a Unilever detergent plant at the time this route is set. Ooh, pair of Class 20s heading through the Caltrain. Very nice. But in the modern day, that plant is still there, but it's about to be turned into an AI data center. Insert clanker memes here. But, yeah. Right, easy does it. Go all the way to the end of the platform. We're slightly late, but hey, it's our first run. Not used to the route yet. Weird to think that I've called this station in a Pendolino. Speaking of Pendolinos, I actually went train spotting at Tring on the West Coast Mainline today. But I can't really make a video out of it because my phone, as I realized, loves overheating and the footage got microwaved. Like, it's so laggy that it doesn't really make sense to use it for footage.
Service to Preston, calling at Wigan Northwestern and Preston.
Nice. We also have some announcements, platform announcements. There's the facility. That thing is huge, by the way. We've also got the station. We've got all of the stuff over here. These are the, I believe these are the, no, these are the old HEAs, which have also been recycled for this route. These are the new HAA coal hoppers. We've got a nose first Class 20 over here. We've got some TEAs from Blackpool branches. We've got some sea cows from West Cornwall local. And we have a pair of 86/4s waiting to go as well. Yeah, and then we've also got this huge place over here, which I don't remember the name of. Like, yeah, there is a ton of stuff going on at Warrington, and which is a real testament to Benedict, the guy at Just Trades, who made the guy who made the timetable. Oh, whoops, cap light off. All right, next stop, Wigan Northwestern, and 11 miles. Oh boy, just put it into the red there. I forgot. Yeah, I need to make sure those amateurs don't go into the red. 75 limit on the way. That's fine by me.
I'd like to welcome all passengers who join us at Warrington Banking. This is 11:31. Service to Preston. Calling you now, Wigan Northwestern and Preston. The next station will be Wigan Northwestern, which will be arriving at in approximately 9 minutes. Could passengers please ensure that any luggage is placed safely in the racks provided, and that aisles will always be kept clear at all times. Thank you.
Yeah, love those new announcements. Like, they Just Trained really went to town on the announcements. So yeah, we actually have a bit of a diversion here, which is this diversion via Newton Willows and Earlstown is actually electrified, and all West Coast Mainline trains are actually rerouted via that after 8 PM. Which I'm not entirely sure why. It's something to do with ballast trains on the line, but yeah, it's pretty cool nonetheless. So yeah, the other major performance sink is probably going to be Preston. I don't really think Wigan Northwestern is going to have that many performance issues, but we'll see. Yeah. This route is not releasing for Gen 8 consoles, which is not really surprising. Gen 8 consoles are having all support discontinued later this year. Like, all support. Everything. No new DLCs, no new updates, no nothing. So, I'm not totally... Yeah, this is just... Gen 8 consoles will take one look at this route and promptly explode, so... And I'm not... And that's not a exaggeration. Come on, buddy. Let's give us some welly. I can't wait to do a merry-go-round run. Like... Oh, is that... Oh, wait a minute. I think I remember reading about this in the manual. believe that is an RAF base off to the right. Yes, it is. That is a Royal Air Force base. I think. Yeah, it is. It's the Royal Air Force base. I can't remember what it's called, but unfortunately no train services go there, for obvious reasons. Like, that would be a cool place to put Cargo Line 4 military services in. If there was a yard in that area, that would be a perfect candidate for Cargo Line Volume 4 military services, but there's no such thing now. Let's start running it down for that 80 limit. So yeah, the 80 limit is for the junction off to the Luton Willows and Hellstown. Yeah. Going back to my train spotting at Tring today, I actually had a lot of fun, despite my phone camera deciding to just go boom. Ooh, steel train! Neat, that's from Preston Carlisle, and it has a 87 on the front. Very nice. I actually saw not one, not two, but 3 special liveries. 3 Avanti West Coast special liveries. I saw a Pride liveried Class 807, which I didn't even know existed. The Climate Change liveried Class 390 Pedalino named Opportunity. Oh boy. Big stutter there. I'm not entirely sure why. And the Pride liveried Class 390 called Progress. And I saw all 3 of them! I only managed to get good footage of one of them though. I recorded all 3, but the footage, yeah, it's just, like, for the other 2, it's just like, yeah, I just can't use that on YouTube, people, when, like, it's just genuinely not usable at all, which is really annoying. Alright, we've got an 80 and a 90 limit in rapid... Oop, I just set it to off by accident. That's really annoying. Right, run it up. Run it all the way back up again. I love how so easy it is to put the tap changer into off when you would just want to run it down. Oh, have we just gone through a neutral section and I didn't even realise? No, now we're getting power. Oh, there's a neutral section, and the power's been shut off. So yeah, apparently ballast trains park here during the night. Not entirely sure why, but... Come on, let's get the power back online. Losing quite a bit of speed. I think it came back, I just didn't know. I think, yeah, it's just hard to tell. Taking power, alright. Okay, there are joins the branch again from the Newton Willow and Earlstown branch. Straight up back toward 100. Would like to do a Class 87 run on this route at some point to get up to 110. As I said, I'm running the route for the first time, so expect a lot more stutters. Is this the... Hang on. Okay, this is a old colliery on the left-hand side, a coal mine. And as you can see, there's a giant coal mound that looks as though it's just asking to follow the tracks. I don't believe there are any active collieries left in Britain at this point. And not even any active coal-fired power stations at this point. Shows you how times have changed. How's frame rate doing? 30 FPS-ish. Not particularly good. Four miles to Wigan Northwestern. Let's actually start running down. Because 93 is enough. I think Wigan is beginning to get loaded in. That's better. It's 35 FPS. That's a bit better. Yeah, I think the 86 is a bit of a performance hog for some reason. The 47/3 and the 20 run a lot better than this. There's Wigan Springs Branch TMD off to the right hand side with a lot of rolling stock hanging around. I would say larking about. Oh, hello! Class 08. Parked on the siding there. Caltrain. Not to be confused with Robbie Caltrain. Sorry. Pair of 20s on the front. Hello, gents. Here, there is another power station on the left-hand side there, which was at the time in the process of being decommissioned, despite the fact it was only active for 10 years. I can't remember the name of the power station. You'll find it in the manual. Yeah, Wigan has some very special details which I would like to show you if you have the time. There is another Wigan station, which you might be wondering, is that included? It is, in a sense, which I'll show you in a minute. We're running slightly late, but that's in the fashion of British Rail. So, yeah, it wouldn't be a British Rail service without it being ever so slightly late. Fashionably late. Nice stop. Open the doors. Alright. Welcome to Wigan Northwestern, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, this is what the station looks like. Pretty decent. Got some mail vans down here. And then we've got Wigan Walgate. Oh. If I could just try to get the camera over. There we go. Wigan Walgate. No drivable services in here, unfortunately. But if you run around on the roads over here, you can access the station via here and train spot in here. It's mainly pacers that come in and out of here. And then over here, you'll see one of Wigan's finest landmarks. This is the Uncle Joe's Meatballs Factory. which for some reason is very pixelated, but there we go. Now I've loaded it. Uncle Joe's mint balls have been a noted product of Wigan for time out of mind, well over a century, and Uncle Joe's mint balls officially licensed Just Trains to add their factory, as it was in 1986, to the game. How cool is that? Like, credit for them for humoring a Train Sim World developer, like, genuinely. What is this over here? Oh wow, a lot of vans, my goodness. Oh yeah, this looks like a Royal Mail facility of some kind. Obviously can't be called Royal Mail, but yeah. I believe the only licensed Royal Mail train in any train simulator is the Class 325 that was done by Dovetail Games many years ago for TS Classic. Yeah, so... Alright, next stop Preston in 15 miles, which is our last stop of the day. So yeah, this route is nowhere near as long as Preston Carlisle was, but who cares? The amount of detail that's packed into this route makes it feel a lot longer than it actually is, which is a very hard feat to pull off. And yeah, there's also something past Preston which I do want to point out. This short branch to Deepdale, where you unload coal for houses, just north of Preston, has finally been added after 3 routes originating out of Preston in the 1980s. I believe the tracks nowadays are abandoned, they just aren't used anymore. Well, because no one uses coal for heating their house anymore, for obvious reasons. But yeah, this, like, I take my hat off to Just Trains. Like, I know the route hasn't run the best today, but I can understand that. There's just so much stock littered around that it honestly makes sense. And just the sheer amount of detail and the dedication that has gone onto this, like, wow. Like, Just Trains, like, would I say it's worth it to get all 3 of their 1980s route and the Class 86-2? 1,000,000%. I just hope that Just Trains can eventually do their a timetable update to Preston Carlisle to add the stock for Preston Crewe, but that's my only minor nitpick. Like, other than that and the somewhat less than optimal performance on today's run, it's basically been perfect. And I think that's because we were coming into these stations for the first time and everything had to be loaded, so I think after this run this performance should be a lot better. And I honestly feel sad in a way, because Britain is getting these absolutely exquisite routes, and Germany also has some exquisite routes too. There's an 87. Some Reagan Mark 3s on the back, nice. But this route is just so exquisitely done that it makes me feel sad for all the people, for all the countries' rail fans that don't get as good routes as this. Like, for example, the Swiss community, the French community, who've been really done dirty in this game, LGV Mediterranee, and then also especially the American rail fans, because they have some decent routes, mind you. Like Morristown, New York to Stamford, San Bernardino all spring to mind. Like, they're pretty decent routes, but nothing on this level. And that's why I'm really hopeful. I'm cautiously optimistic for High Iron Sims Southern Pacific Hayden Branch's route in Arizona, because the American community needs a good route like this, genuinely. Like, this level of detail, quality, performance optimization, all that good stuff. Whoops, and I just paused the game. But yeah, like, if they could get something like that, like, yeah, it's just High Iron just have such a bad reputation. Their stuff in TS Classic was not exactly the best. Someone's blasting music outside my window. Anyway, Hopefully that doesn't get me copyrighted. What I'm really, really hopeful for is that High Iron redeem themselves after their TS Classic shenanigans and the Santa Fe on Cajon Pass disaster. And they produce a route that is worthy to sit alongside this as one of the best routes in the game. Like, genuinely. The American players need it at this point. The German players, they've got Niedertalbahn, Mittenwaldbahn, eventually Neckartalbahn once that comes out, because that will be a superb route. Link-Rheinstrecke probably also qualifies, but the American players, they don't really have anything like this. They don't have any good retro routes. I mean, they do have the Clinchfield Railroad in Kentucky and West Virginia, but that route is not particularly good. Barely any Clinchfield rolling stock to speak of, and pretty poor scenery. What's the station in between us and Preston? Sorry, trying to remember. I don't remember. Did we already pass it? We might have done. I think it's Leyland. Did we already pass it? Oh yeah, there's Leyland. And if you're wondering if that's related to the car factory of the same name, you would be right. British Leyland produce a lot of their cars from a factory that is right next to the track. Oh boy, they should shut off the power controller. Yeah, just sad that we have a lot more stutters this run than usual. Because I want to show this route off, and I just have to load it for the first time. What is that building off to the left of the tower? It doesn't say in the manual what that is. Very interesting. Loads of custom assets on this line. Yeah, also. This route is a lot flatter than Preston Carlisle, which means it's a lot easier to drive the Class 86 and 87 especially. And they don't, they're a lot easier to get up hills and a lot easier to get down hills. Slowing down. And whenever I think Leyland, I also think of Leland, the Section 31 villain from Star Trek Discovery Season 2. Sorry to just throw that in there. Who basically just gets turned into a robot. It's quite an involved plot, but yeah. Oh boy, okay, slow down. Take the local brake off, let's use the train brake. 7.5 miles to Preston with no predicted arrival time. Interesting. We got into Leyland yet. We got into Leyland yet. Leyland, no, we have not. Yeah, it's mainly Manchester, Victoria to Blackpool North services that call here. First adverse signal of the day. Wonder if it's a pacer in front of us. I wouldn't be too surprised. I do like how they've incorporated much more realistic 1980s British vehicles into the game, and yeah, like, if we could get an free update for Preston Carlisle, adding all the stuff from Preston Crewe realistically, and then also adding the new vehicle models that they commissioned on it. One thing that Just Trains said was they actually commissioned these new models as for the Cumbria Coast route, but then they found they could add them to Crewe Preston as well, so that's great. Yeah, like an update for Preston Carlisle, adding all the Preston Crewe stock realistically, and then also adding the what is it? Stuff. The cars from Preston Crewe. Oh, thanks. Right. Why did we have yellows then? Wonder if we have someone in front of us. Run you up. Alright, let's see. Okay, there's a pacer, absolutely. Okay, there we go. Okay, there's a pacer on the slow line, and then there's also Moss End to 7 Tunnel Junction, which I think is a steel train. Oh, and the power shut off. That's because we entered a neutral section. Just have to wait a moment. Let's try turning the power back on. Okay, there we go. Power's back. Power's been restored. Well, that could be a 101 on the slow line, the 2-car version. I don't know if it's a pacer, but it's pretty... should be a pacer. Alright, run you a long way into the yellow. Just hang on. I actually want to pause and make sure I'm still recording. Yes, I am. This has been a cool run so far. Like... is it as distinctive a run as Preston Carlisle? Probably not, because nice graffiti just trained. But would I say, is it a more detailed run? Because yeah, you're also running through countryside, you're seeing industry, you've got multiple cool stops. Like yeah, this route is... I think I'm just going to say this. This is my favourite route in Train Sim World, and I haven't even finished my first run of it yet. Like, Great Western Express Remastered, you're awesome. Like, no doubt about it. But does it compare to this absolute magnificence that is this route? No. Like, even routes like Libertat Starapaka, which are amazing routes in themselves, pale in comparison to this. Coming up on Leyland. I have to pronounce it Leyland because it's British Leyland, and you have to pronounce it not Leland, it's Leyland. Sorry about the really loud... Oh, there goes I assume that's an 86 or 87. 4 miles to Preston. Did we already miss it? Freeze, please. I think we might have already missed it, because... there is a British Leyland factory on the side of the track, near to Leyland Station. It might be on the left here. It has a lot of vehicles that we know it is. Yeah. There has been quite a few stutters this run, but hey. It is what it is. It's just the route loading itself in for the first time, and I can't do anything about this. This is a first look video after all. So yeah, we should now start seeing Manchester Victoria to Blackpool North or vice versa services. There is one ahead of us, further up the line. 32, 33, 35 FPS when it isn't stuttering. Okay, that's good. 2.3 miles to Preston. We're on the final stretch. We should have the line from Ormskirk merge in any moment now. And yep, there it is. There's the line from Ormskirk. So now this is a known section of line for me. There's a 35 limit. 50% rate on the service brake. It's so weird to be coming at Preston from the south, because our Blackpool branches in Preston Carlisle, you always come in it from the north. Oh, wow, we are zooming into Preston. seen too many 47-3s this run. It's just been 47-4s, which is really weird. Speaking of which, are you a stroke 3? No, you're not. You're a stroke 4. Really funny we haven't seen any stroke 4s this run. So yeah, there will be a loco change to a class 47 at Preston, and then you can do this run on Blackpool branches, which is pretty cool, as far as Blackpool.
When this train completes its journey, could all passengers please ensure that they have all their belongings with them on leaving this train. And on behalf of British Rail, we hope you have a safe and pleasant journey. Thank you.
Preston, my old friend. The termination point for no less than 3 separate routes now. Now that I think about it, Cumbrian Coast is going to be the first route from Just Trains that doesn't originate at some point in Preston. There goes a Class 101 on its run down to Ormskirk, I would assume. All those diesel exhaust effects are not helping the frames. There's a route hut marker to Blackpool branches of Preston Carlisle on the right. Yeah, you obviously know Preston. It's been in 2 separate routes at this point. 3 separate routes by Just Trains at this point. You know what it looks like. Yeah, and I'm happy to say that I've been to Preston. It doesn't look too different from its 1986 counterpart. Oh, I missed my stop. Whoops! I forgot we weren't stopping at the end of the platform. Unload passengers. Alright, welcome to Preston, everybody. Oh, there's a 47-3. Doing this mail train. These postal sightings are actually still here, by the way, in real life, which is pretty cool. 47377. That's very funny. Got some express parcel vans on the back. It's nice having all the layers from the get-go. Okay, that was loaded. No points lost to Speedy, which is nice. So yeah, we drove almost 51 miles, and yeah, I'll be all for this video, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. Please do join the Discord server to chat with me, and if you want to go that extra mile towards supporting me, please do become a channel member, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.